You are listening to the Awake Athlete Podcast. I'm Jessica Mikowski, endurance athlete and mindset coach, here to share with you perspectives and contemplations from a 10,000-foot view of life. Hey, you guys, welcome back to the show. I'm coming to you from a closet. I have this beautiful, beautiful home right now, but this little closet, it's like a temple, and it's got this nice padded rug, and I feel like it's providing really good sound, and it's like a space for me. That's what matters, is that we're feeling good about what we're doing. We're feeling good about what we're doing. We have to start backing away from the resistance in our life, and it takes will, you guys. I experienced it this morning, on my run. So Sundays are typically, and have been, my long trail run. And it's about going long. It's about time on the legs. It's not really about breaking any records, especially since I've been running on the road more now. Keeping my mileage like in the high 30s is really where I've been, so that as I approach a race, we'll just be able to like put the frosting on top, which is the best part, put the frosting on top and get me, to the starting line fit for that race. But today on this particular course, it's a 15-mile run that we do. I love it. It's trail, it's non-technical, and they've actually done some work on it. So it was really not technical today at all. There were hardly any rocks out there. And so it's basically just under 5 miles to the base of this climb that takes you up to Raptor Ridge. And then you take this amazing descent down the other side, and you hit a turnaround point at 7.45 miles. Like, it is so accurate. And then you come back, and that really nice downhill you did is also this super nice uphill. It's like that perfect grade. And then the downhill coming off Raptor Ridge is so fun. And you get to the bottom and you're at about 10.6 miles. So the whole run is just under 15 miles, right? 14.9. And so we get to the bottom, and Daniel, who is a vegan-powered athlete, also Team Yogi Triathlete, Coach Beach, gave us the option to tempo on the way back. And I always like to tempo on the way back because you're not doing a lot of climbing. Typically that I would do in a 3-hour run on other trails. And so I feel like it's a really great trail to tempo on, to get your legs getting used to that quicker turnover on the dirt. There's always deeper, sandier sections. And this one, you can kind of let it rip because it's not technical. I was feeling pretty good. I don't know, I was kind of psyched to tempo it back and just see what I had, because I've done it several times. So I always know that I make it, and I always know that I, hold a strong pace for me, and whatever that is on the day. Today it was like 9:30. I haven't even looked at my watch. I just wanted to share this experience because I think there's some good takeaways here. And this is a way that I find to be effective to teach, is through experience, because the only way to really embody these concepts and these perspectives that I'm offering you is you have to experience it. You can't just know about it. This isn't passing, a biology test or a history test. It's not just about putting it in and then regurgitating out. You have to, change happens on a cellular level. And that's how things become lifestyles, and meditation and living mindfully as an athlete. Like, oh my God, such a powerful lifestyle. And why do I know this? Because I read it in a book? No, because I'm experiencing it. And today was really powerful. So I start going, and I'm like, 10 minutes. Like, you got to build into it. Also, I'm just not going to go cranking and then blow my wad too fast and then, be really struggling to hold the pace. It's about build into it. So I give myself about a mile to build into it. And then I brought it down between 9 and 9:30, and that's a strong pace for me that I can hold. But today I was getting a lot of feedback from my body. It was painful. I had some pulling on my right plantar fascia. I had some like stiffness in my left Achilles and a little bit of something that was going on with a nerve that was making my left leg feel like it didn't have a lot of strength. But I was really focusing on pushing off and using my glutes and using those really strong, durable running muscles and not let my form go to shit. So still focusing on being strong. The mind wants to go immediately to that because it's the loudest sensation that you have going, right? It's a dense sensation. Well, as an awake athlete, I know on a cellular level, because that's where it's got to be, you guys, that pain is an incredible purifier. It is a beautiful and powerful purifier of body and of mind, depending on what our response to it is. And in the Yoga Sutras, it talks about like pain should not be avoided. Now, I can hear all the rebuttals from the lower self that say, but, what if somebody gets injured or, when, people get addicted to pushing too hard, and all that is like lower self stuff. When you really embody that everything is energy and that our histories live in our tissues and in our DNA, and not just our own, but like our ancestors. And we have an opportunity to purify that line. As an awake athlete, as somebody who is first and foremost waking up and thinning the veil, and just when you think it's gone, get curious, because as long as you're still in a body, there's a little bit of a veil. And so the pain did not go away. And in the face of intensity, for me, what really works is relaxing. Just relax your shoulders. I was like, relax your arms, like just relax and allow these strong, durable muscles that you've been building for over a year now, like steadfastly since I started working with Dr. Dave Pachkowski. Rely on that history. Don't just go to what's the loudest, right? So really clear in these moments. And training for me now is about, the physical training for me now is always about training the mind. It's always about training the mind, but in a very activated way where I am awake, right? I am awake in that moment to not get caught up in the drama of, oh my God, pain, like, oh, this is bad. Oh gosh, like at one point my Achilles felt like it was like twisted, which is really dramatic. And I just kept relaxing, and not, I like relax, but relax your face, relax the corners of your eyes, relax your jaw. Relax your exhale. Relax. And that's the voice that I'm using when I'm out there and it's intense and the volume's getting turned up. And I had an interesting twist to the story today, because typically that's enough. If you listen to the Smackdown of Bryce Canyon on the Yogi Triathlete podcast, you will be cued into the fact that that was a battle of the mind. It was such a battle of the mind. And today was also a battle of the mind, but I used a new technique, or a technique that I haven't used in a long time, that really rewarded me right away. So we are about, at this point, 2 miles from the car, and there's a hill. And at the bottom of the hill, there was a screaming voice in my head that was like, you need to stop. And like the relax thing wasn't necessarily working anymore. So I went full on into the physical, full on into the glutes, full on into focus on that part of my body. Went up the hill. I was completely got out of breath at the top, because I think that was kind of how some of the dramatics was actually trying to exit my body. and came down the other side. My feet now feel like my shoes are hot coals. And it was building and building, like it was building, and the relax wasn't working. And I just yelled, I yelled probably 80% of the volume that I wanted to yell at. So I held back a little bit. So I'm sure I will have another opportunity in the future to do that. And I just said, my feet are in so much pain. My feet are in so much pain right now. And I said, okay. And I just discharged that energy. And BJ, my coach, is he's so awake too. Like he knew that was exactly what I was doing. He did not say a word. He didn't buy into it. I didn't feel his energy shift like, oh my God, she's having a tough time. He was just like solid as a rock right by me. I think he glanced at me, but I was kind of smiling too. And I discharged that because I could feel the pain as it was leaving through my words. And the pain, like it never reached the volume that it was at. And the other thing that I was doing from probably about 2.5 miles out was I went back to a mantra that my meditation teacher had given me for Ironman Lake Placid. Because I used to have a lot of like, oh, that's funny, interesting, a lot of like hot foot nerve issues on the runs in Ironman. That's interesting that came back today. Something there. He said to me, because I would go into races and I always had a session with him before I left for the race. I said, what should my mantra be? And he said, joy. And I was like, joy? And he said, yeah, if you make your mind a one-pointed focus on joy, there's no room for anything else. And I was like, okay. And so I did that, but I amended it back then. This is a long time ago, maybe 6 years ago. And I amended it back then to only joy, no pain. Only joy, no pain. Only joy, no pain. And that was the mantra. And it worked really well for me back then. I thought of it today, but today the only thing that came out was joy, because it wasn't about pushing the pain away. It was about soaking in the joy that was available. And two things. One, how did I do that? The sun was rising behind us. And when we hit the turnaround and we started to head back to the car, I said, come on, mother sun, let's go. And I said, let's prove these skeptics wrong, because I said the sun was going to come out, and BJ and Daniel said it was actually looking darker. And I said, come on, mother sun, let's go. And so in that time when I was saying joy, I was like, oh my God, the joy of the sun, the power of the sun. Like I'm going to absorb that and soak that in as joy, as the power of joy. And so that was my mantra. It was just joy. It was just joy in seeing this opportunity to have this purifying experience, and further practice embodying that I can just be neutral to the pain. So now we're about 0.2 miles from the car, and I'm like, know that I'm going to just put whatever I have out there and, dump into a pace of like low 8s, right? Just for the last tiny little bit. And we come around this corner, and oh my God, there is this golden retriever. You guys have probably seen Clark. If you haven't, check out my Instagram. Clark's really handsome. He's a sensory pleasure trap. That's what I call him. He's just amazing. He's the joy creator. That's what we call Clark. Come around the corner, and there's this golden retriever that was lit, like glowing, as white as a polar bear, with the big block head and the gorgeous black nose. I have never seen a golden as white as this. It was young because it had the dark around its eyes and the perfect dark nose. And I was like, oh my God, it was like this. It was joy. It was joy reflecting back at me. And so that's kind of an experience of of a run for an awake athlete. And I would love to hear your experiences and know that wherever you are, you guys, 6 years ago, I wasn't ready to be in non-resistance of the pain. I was still wishing it would go away. And so, but I'm not ashamed of that. So just know that like your stories are, they're your stories and they can never be duplicated. Everything that comes our way is for us. It's always for us. So, okay, that felt really good. I hope you enjoyed it. More of these. Let me know if you like that way of teaching or sharing this knowledge or wisdom that I have. I mean, wisdom, like when I say that word, like, oh, the wisdom I have, like my ego's like, you sound like such an idiot when you say that. My wisdom. It's not my wisdom. That's the thing. It's just information. It's not information. It is freaking wisdom. But it's not mine. I didn't create it. I've tapped into it. And it's yours. It's yours. It's all of ours. So I can't wait to be called to this mic again. Thank you so much for listening. And if you're loving it, share it, you guys. Oh my gosh, share it. Leave a review. This is such a high level offering of love. And I really hope you feel that because, oh my God, I feel it and it feels so good and so scary.